नमो अध्यायाणं नमो लोये सव्वसाहूणम् एसो पञ्च नमोकारो सौवभावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सौवेसिं पढमं हवै मङ्गलम् मंगलम भगवान वीरो मंगलम गौतम प्रभु मंगलम स्थूलभद्राद्या जैन धर्मोस्तु मंगलम नित्यं प्रसन्नं सौम्य वदनं गुणगणैषु शोभितं न्यायप्रियं सत्यवचनं धीरता गुणभूषितं शास्त्ररुचिं शुचिमतिं सुबधीधनं प्रियदर्शनं तं हेमरत्नसुरीश्वरं प्रणमाम्यहं सुभावतः अंगूठे अमृतवसे लब्धितना भंडार श्री गुरु गौतम समर्ये वांछित फलदाता।
Guru is the one who shows us the path from darkness to light. Guru is the ultimate guide who lights the lamp of wisdom within us and inspires us to find an answer to the purpose of what this human life is all about.
God does not speak. God never gives you any example or suggestion or advice from his side. But Guru always tells us. He finds out what is the best in us, where we are lacking, and what should we do.
Karma is both past and present, as it's a concept that encompasses a person's past, present, and future actions and their consequences with time. However, some individuals are born great, while some etch out the destiny as per time and situation. Finally, their sanchita and prarabdha karma leads to the present life goals. Now let's move ahead to the key focus highlight of our film. The American citizen Rishi Zaveri, who was born in Thane, Maharashtra, to parents Manish Zaveri, a CA, and Sunita Zaveri, a software engineer by profession. Both decided to pack their bags, leave behind their son Rishi with their parents in India, and moved ahead to explore good job opportunities abroad.
When he was 1.5, we had to move to USA. So we have to leave him in Thane with my in-laws and in Nadiyad where my parents live, because at that time we had to still find our jobs and everything.
I and my wife, we went to Canada, and from there we went to USA. I studied there too. I finished my CPA, I finished my MBA. We have been in that country for now almost 28-29 years.
Though it all started from Canada, but finally they settled down at Detroit, Michigan, USA. Within a few years, all seemed to be set for them, and thus Rishi was bonding back again with his parents in the USA.
When he came to USA at 2.5, he was very well trained as well as extremely jolly kid. I was really very happy to see him.
Rishi passed out his 12th from Harrison High School, Michigan, with flying colors. Rishi, while growing up, saw that the Jain families here had a great community feeling, and their intent to keep intact the tenets of Jainism was deep-rooted, and to follow the rich culture and tradition as well, the love for India continued.
I've known Rishi since I was around 5 years old. We met in the neighborhood that we used to live in, and we quickly became the best of friends. After school, on the weekends, countless sleepovers, math classes that neither of us wanted to go to, and we ended up growing up together. Rishi, as a child, was very obedient, quite studious. He always showed a lot of respect for others, and at the same time Rishi liked to have a lot of fun as well, without breaking the rules.
Our Sangh there in Detroit was able to create a full-fledged temple. You know, the temple was established and the Pratishtha happened in the month of July of 1998. So even while we were away around 10,000 miles in a separate country, we were still very close to the temple and the values. and that's how we have brought up both our children, both Rishi and Mihir.
Rishi, along with his family and friends, came to the Jain temple often, participated in varied community programs, and many more.
I grew up in the US, typical American lifestyle, American friends, American education. Where I lived, we had a great exposure to also Indian culture, my Jain culture as well. So even though I went to an American school, I studied at one of the top colleges in the world. But even while I was in that school, I was doing Ras Garba. I was the captain of the Ras team. I was dancing in cultural shows. I learned how to play all the traditional instruments, sitar, harmonium as well. So, and then on the other side, I had a very very American upbringing. I did marching band, which is a very very American activity in high school. I'm a big fan of American football. I don't miss any of the games for my for my school or for my city. I have a black belt in karate as well.
In 2016, Rishi completed his bachelor's and Master of Science and Engineering in Computer Science from the University of Michigan. After his post-graduation, Rishi got his best job as a software engineer in Salesforce Inc. From school to university and then to a perfect job, and in between sports, travel, music, Ras Garba, partying with friends and get-togethers.
I spent 27 years in America. I lived in Michigan. I went to all American schools, college also, and I worked at one of the top software companies that's also based in San Francisco. But I was living in the Midwest region, so in Indianapolis. I went, fully American lifestyle with friends and food and traveling.
Undoubtedly, all was set for Rishi as per fate.
So from birth, he has a goal to do the best. So not only in game, in studies also, he mastered. In playing the flute, he mastered. In martial arts, he mastered. He became a computer engineer. He did the best job in one of the best company of US. He did the best work there. He was awarded as one of the best employee. As his mama, I am also from the computer background. I own a software company in India. Whenever we need some help, we are asking Rishi.
There was still some feeling that something was missing. So somebody else might say that I achieved everything, but myself inside I was feeling like I have not achieved something, that something is missing.
Somehow, he started feeling different altogether. At one point in time, life was not easy for him. While in college, he somehow started distancing himself from religion and spirituality, and thus many doubts cropped up, all about its usefulness in his life.
The mindset, the practices that we used to perform, I stopped doing that even in college, and it becoming very much unreligious. And it was just because the life, I didn't feel like I had the time or I had the energy to even think about that kind of part of life.
Rishi had the best education, a respectable job, and a handsome salary package, bestowed upon good family values, friends, and many more, including traveling, music, etc. But somehow he was pondering beyond worldly happenings.
That's very unique characteristic that I have seen him. He will never feel like he is different. He'll just adjust anywhere and everywhere and not look down upon him at all.
For him, destiny was yet to reveal the real purpose of his journey.
He was just a normal American kid and just enjoying the life, doing everything that the normal kid will do. Nothing very different. The main change that started happening in 2013 August, we visited India, and that's when very first time he met the Guruji now he has chosen, which is Param Pujya Panyasri Viragratna Maharaj Sahib. And he started developing closeness with him. And Maharaj Sahib have asked him to visit him whenever it is possible.
While in college, he visited India to meet his uncle in Ahmedabad, and that opportune proved worthwhile to meet the Sadhu Maharaj Sahib Ji, who would later become his guru as per faith.
He came into touch with our Gurudev, Panyasri Viragratna Maharaj Sahib, and that was his first experience to sit personally, to have a dialogues, to have a discussion with any Jain sadhu. Because to be religious is a different story, to visit Derasar, do all the kriyas is a different story, and to be in touch with the sadhu is 360-degree change.
ये इनके मामा उनके थ्रू मिलना हुआ, और वो भी अहमदाबाद में मिलना हुआ। तो आए गए, कैसा है क्या है, एक दिन आया, 2 दिन आया, 3 दिन आया, बातचीत आप क्या करते हो, कैसे करते हो। तो ऐसे करके 2-4 दिन आने के बाद में उसका काम फिनिश हो गया, चले गया फिर यूएस। फिर क्या, दूसरे साल में इनकी मामी ने 30 उपवास किया। तो उसके लिए उनका कुछ सिद्ध चक्र महापूजन ऐसा रखा गया। तो वो सिद्ध चक्र महापूजन में फिर दोबारा आने को हुआ। तो दोबारा आया तो उसमें फिर आना जाना, वार्तालाप क्या है कैसा है, ऐसा करके 2-4 दिन रह के फिर वो चले गया वापस। फिर तीसरे साल फिर आया, क्योंकि उसके मामा ने संघ निकाला। हमारे यहाँ पे संघ निकलता है पद यात्रा वाला। तो उसमें साधु, साध्वी, श्रावक और श्राविका, तो उनको चतुर्विध संघ बोलते हैं। तो वो संघ उन्होंने निकाला, उसमें 4 दिन की छुट्टी लेके फिर यूएस से फिर खास उसके लिए आया। वो होने के बाद उसका प्रोग्राम हो गया, वो चले गया।
He spent some time with Gurudev Ji and cleared many a doubt.
He basically moved towards religion of Jainism more after he finished college. He came back to this country and he stayed with my guru for almost a year. And that was the time when he learned all the Panchpratikaman Sutras. And then after he stayed for a year, he came back again in the year 2018.
There, his questions were patiently answered. Yet Rishi was not satisfied.
And I did find, at least some answers, when it came to figuring out what is my purpose, should be my goal in life, how should I should live, how should I live my life. And so all those answers I got. Again, I came back to the US. At that point, my life changed.
Somehow a connection of faith and fondness developed between the Guru and Shishya. And year after year, Rishi flew from the USA to be in the company of his Guru Sahib, Panyas Shri Virag Ratna Vijayji Maharaj.
He just liked him, and so whenever it was his vacation, he used to come to India and then spend some time with him. Eventually, my brother had a sang of Chalipalit sang of 3 days to Sankheshwar, and at that time he again came just for 3 days. At that time, Maharaj Sahib's Vihar was in Rajasthan. It was summer and it was 45 degrees temperature, and they have to pass through the desert, they have to pass through the jungles, they have to stay in a police thane for the night. It was all different kind of circumstances, means at least we would not imagine. I have never seen Sadhu's life before like that. And he went through everything and very happily.
Meanwhile, here at Detroit, slowly he joined the education committee of Young Jains of America organization, where he wrote articles and other education material for American Jain youth. In 2021, he was a part of the Jain Alert Group of USA and Jain Alert International. The idea and goal of these groups were to connect the Jain youth who have moved from India, help them and support professionally, emotionally and spiritually.
I am fortunate enough to have grown up with Rishi since we were 6 years old through our participation in Pathshala at the Jain Society of Greater Detroit. Many of us also attended the University of Michigan together and participated in different cultural activities in college, and we also founded a Jain student association with some of our other friends from growing up. A distinct memory for me is a lecture Rishi gave in our college Jain group about the calculus of happiness. A few years ago, when grappling with confusion about many aspects of life, a conversation with Rishi reminded me of the core teachings of this lesson, the cultivation of inner peace and contentment being the only one true happiness, and the fact that we cannot derive happiness from external events or materialism. It is an idea I come back to over and over again, and I am grateful to hold on to this wisdom from Rishi.
When I was young, all I wanted to do was to be like him. He was the person I looked up to the most. He did marching band in high school, so that's what I decided to do. He went to the University of Michigan, so that became my dream school as well. At Michigan, he joined the ROS team, so when I went to Michigan, I did as well. Our interests started to converge. The summer before he went to college, he introduced me to X-Men and Marvel. He also introduced me to English rap music, which I know is something that he does not listen to anymore. And we started reading the same books, watching the same TV shows and the same movies. We would talk about Michigan football every fall and winter, and we loved hiking national parks together.
Now the regular visits to India, meeting his Gurudeva as well other Jain sadhus, spending ample time with them, gave him a feeling of self-contentment and peace. Rishi got his best job as a software engineer in Salesforce Inc.
वहाँ पे नौकरी ज्वाइन किया और 6 महीने भी नहीं हुआ था तो फिर उसका समाचार कि गुरुदेव मेरे को आना है। मैं बोला आ जा वापस। आया तो पापा को पूछा नहीं, नौकरी छोड़ दिया और पापा ने थोड़ा डांटा भी इसको, पूछे बगैर छोड़ दिया, अब क्या करने का। तो आया फिर 8-9 महीने हमारे साथ में रहा। उसमें हमारे यहाँ पे और भी अध्ययन आगे का अध्ययन रहता हुआ अध्ययन किया। करने के बाद में 9 महीने रहा। फिर पापा का फिर समझ आया यहाँ पे दादी है, दादी को लेके तू अर्जेंट आ जा यूएस में। तो वो सब काम छोड़ के पापा की आज्ञा थी, आज्ञा पालन कर लिया। और फिर पापा ने बोला ऐसा कब तक घूमता रहेगा, चल नौकरी फिर से ज्वाइन कर। नौकरी फिर से चालू किया तो नौकरी चालू रहा। हर साल वो एक बार मिलने को आता था। खाली कोरोना में वो नहीं आया था, बाकी हर बार वो आया। और जब भी आया तभी हम साधु के जैसे जीवन कैसे रहता है, वो हम लोग स्त्री को हाथ नहीं, ये लाइट को हाथ नहीं, ऐसे कच्चा पानी वगैरह हम लोग छूते नहीं हैं। तो वो भी हमारे तरह ही आके 4 घंटा 2 घंटा ऐसे रहने का, उसमें अभ्यास करने का, ये उसका आदत धीरे धीरे उसमें उसको मन लगा और वो आगे चलने लगा।
Rishi served in Salesforce Inc. for almost 6 years in between quitting and rejoining Salesforce. He was drawing a handsome salary of 10 lakh INR per month in US dollars.
He by himself, without anybody telling him, neither even the Maharaj Sahib, he started doing Tibihar Pachkhan, which was very surprising because he was involved in a competitive RAS in the college. He was in the college at that time. And for the RAS practices will go, it's very, very, very hard. And it will go on till 12 o'clock midnight. And normally he used to come back and he will be so hungry and he will eat. But after that, he started just taking water and no food. Because he said in Sangh, we used to do Ekashnu and we used to do Chavyar. Then the next morning we used to wake up, do Pratikamar, and then used to walk 8-10 kilometers without any water, nothing, and was able to survive. So why not doing it in day-to-day life? So he just kept, freedom of water, but at least he quit the food at that time immediately after sunset.
He was doing Pratikaman in the morning and in the evening. He was not eating any abhakshanankai, always drinking boiled water and no ratri bhojan. So his life was that of a very strong Jain shravak, even though he was living in the country of USA. And then slowly, he, as time passed, he basically realized that true happiness and true peace is not going to be in that country with all the materialistic things. And that's when he decided he basically wanted to renounce the material world and become a sadhu.
Slowly, a new life unfolded for him, wherein he moved ahead to explore something beyond all these materialistic worlds.
I think he surprised me at every stage of his life. And after that, I was not at all surprised that he made this decision because truly speaking, I was inspiring him for taking Diksha, but he was still not very sure about himself that he will be able to follow everything. So then I said, okay, let's do one thing. Let's do the Updhan. And in Updhan, if your bhav changes, you will be able to stay with yourself more. Then, you will be able to basically see yourself very closely and then make the decision.
Rishi understood his ultimate purpose of life.
Meantime, my younger daughter, Ashka, she also was passing through this type of dilemma, and she decided strongly that she wants to become Jain Sadhviji. So, just before 5 months, 1st May 2024, she took Diksha and become Jain Sadhviji. And our whole family and Rishi was also present in the whole transformation of being a girl transforming into Jain Sadhviji. Maybe that touched him so strongly, and thereafter when he came back and left everything in US, he left his job, he left his home, he left his circle, he left all the materialistic connections and decided that, okay, my goal is now fixed. Anyhow, I want to be Jain Sadhu.
And thus finally, he quit his job at Salesforce Inc.
When he went to his manager told him, you know what, I was going to get ready for your promotion. But still he did not even hesitated for a moment, thinking, let me take my promotion and then go back to India. He still gave his resignation and came to India taking one-way ticket. And that's when he stayed here for more than 10 months. And he was living a life of Mumukshu.
So he basically made up his mind, and then in the month of March 2024, he quit everything, he quit his job and came back to India. And since then, he's been living with my guru.
So when he told me this past spring that he was quitting his job and going back to India for good to take Diksha, I didn't know how to react. It honestly felt like a bad dream, and then I would wake up one day and he'd be back home like nothing changed. I felt sad that I wouldn't get to make the memories that I thought I would. I felt abandoned, that he wouldn't be there for any future major life events of mine or our family's lives. While I am happy that he has found what makes him happy, sometimes I do wish it wasn't this. Everyone in the Jain community says how proud they are of him and how happy they are to see someone from the Jain community in the US taking Diksha.
He convinced his parents about his goal in life and moved ahead to achieve his sole purpose in life of becoming a Mumukshu, a Jain sadhu to be very precise.
वैराग्य की इसकी भावना चालू हुई, उसने सर्विस छोड़ दिया और खुद की इच्छा से यहाँ पे आ गया. मम्मी और पापा दोनों को, मम्मी तो इच्छा करती थी कि भाई मेरा बेटा ये संसार के अंदर में नहीं रहे तो अच्छा है.
I was extremely happy to know his decision because that's what my feeling have been from a long time since he came into touch with Maharaj Sahib.
I personally was not very prepared when he made up that mind, but looks like that I have now accepted it. And same thing with my family circle. But it looks to me that I think as destiny would have it, he had to come back and he had to do what he had to do.
To start with an initiation of ritualistic process of a shravak, layman, to a mumukshu, a sadhu, continued his new journey on the Indian soil. The date was 13th October 2024 at Secunderabad's Parshva Padmavati Shwetambar Jain Temple. The family members of Rishi collected along with relatives and friends for the occasion. They all were part of the rituals, which started with a procession of family and friends together. All were having some or the other gifts with them. Rishi was leading the procession, holding a coconut in his hand, while others followed. They were greeted at the main entrance, and the whole atmosphere became spiritually inclined. All entered the main event hall. People had gathered and the respective Gurudevas too were present. The gifts were being taken to the main event place. With great music, dance and spiritual based cultural flavor.
My family members, they all brought different auspicious items, and they brought them and they put them in front of the Guru. And so it is just, treating me, in my final days, as a prince. Because on the day that I take Diksha, then all of these things will go away. And so whatever, ullas, whatever excitement that they have, this is the times, the moments where my entire family and my friends can express that.
युवान अवस्था होती है, पैसों की कोई कमी नहीं होती है, और अमेरिका जैसा देश होता है, वहाँ तरह तरह के सब मौज शौक इजीली अवेलेबल होते हैं, पर ऐसे एटमॉस्फेयर में रहने के बावजूद भी कर्म के साथ साथ धर्म करने का उनका जो भाव बना, वो कोई पूर्व की उनकी साधना हो सकती है.
Now, the Gurudeva started announcing the main Diksha Muhurat date, which was slated for the 8th of June 2025 at Shahpur in Maharashtra.
અરહમ નમઃ મુમુક્ષુ ઋષિ કુમારનું દીક્ષાનું મુહૂર્ત વિક્રમ સંવત 2081 જેઠ સુદ 12 રવિવાર તારીખ 8/6/2025 શ્રેષ્ઠ મુહૂર્તમાં થશે. ઋષિ ખરેખરમાં ઋષિ જ છે અને હવે ભાવ ઋષિ બનીને ઋષિ રાજની અદાએ સંયમ, સ્વાધ્યાય, સેવા, સહાય, સમર્પણ, સહિષ્ણુતા દ્વારા આત્માને નિર્મળ બનાવી શીઘ્ર પૂર્ણાનંદ દશાને પ્રાપ્ત કરે તેવી અંતરની મંગલ કામના, આશીર્વાદ, પ્રેમ સુંદર સુરીના ધર્મ લાભ.
After the announcement of Diksha date, the Gurudeva continued with the briefings.
अभी मुमुक्षु का बहुमान संत को करेगा, लेकिन पहले मुमुक्षु ही नक्की करेंगे कि उनको तिलक कौन करेगा. परिवार समृद्ध है, सक्षम है, कितना भी खर्चा हो आसानी से कर सकते हैं. अगर 10 लाख रुपया बहन को दे सकते हैं तो ये 2 दिन के प्रोग्राम के लिए कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. लेकिन संघ की भावना थी कि हमारे यहाँ पर एक पूरा का पूरा प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, तो महाराज संघ टोटल लाभ ये संघ को ही दीजिए. ये 2 दिन का खाने का, पीने का वगैरह जो भी खर्चा हुआ, सभी का सभी लाभ हमारे यहाँ की संघ ने ही लिया हुआ. लेकिन परिवार की जो भावना थी, साथ के साथ मिलकर एक बहुत सुपर योजना बनाई है यहाँ के स्थानिक संघ के लिए. वो योजना कैसी, जरा ध्यान से सुन दीजिएगा. साहेब सूत्र करने में बहुत ही इंटरेस्ट, सब लोगों को सूत्र पट्टी करना. हमारी भावना ये रही थी कि हमारे संघ के आज से 18 साल तक की उम्र वाले ये संत के हो के कोई भी हो, यहाँ पर आकर यहाँ की अंदर गुरु वंदन के तमाम सूत्र, 3 सूत्र आते हैं. इचकार, खमा समरा, पबुटलो सूत्र, चैत्य वंदन के तमाम सूत्र, सामायिक के तमाम सूत्र, बहुत कम है, ज्यादा नहीं. ये 3 सूत्र एकदम क्लियर पक्के करने. यहाँ पाठशाला के जो भी टीचर वगैरह पढ़ाने वाले होंगे, उनको जो भी होगा मुझे पता नहीं, आपको वो काम दिया जाएगा.
The Gurudeva continued with the briefings of certain ritualistic and religiously inclined tenets of a Jain sadhu life. The basic things a Jain sadhu uses throughout his life.
तो हम यहाँ पर उनके ही हाथों से आपको उपकरण मिले तो लेंगे जब दीक्षा लेंगे तब, लेकिन आज उनके हाथों से आपको अलग अलग उपकरण मिलेगा, उनकी बहुमान उनकी अनुबोधना का लाभ भी आपको मिलेगा.
Each thing of use was displayed, its importance told, and people sitting there were asked to contribute to the life of a sadhu not through money but through shedding out their virtues, ego, and practice a certain set of acts for a year or so.
ये दोनों तरफ उपकरण रखे गए हैं. साधु जीवन के अंदर जब उपकरण होते हैं, एक उपकरण का हम यूज क्या करते हैं, कौन से काम में आता है. 99% सभी उपकरण जी दया के लिए हैं, रक्षा करने के लिए.
Some were like not using mobile phones for a certain period, reading scriptures, listening to good music, bhajans, etc., attending prayers, not eating certain food items, and many more to continue.
तो उनको ऐसे नॉर्मल है, फ्रिज की कोई भी चीज नहीं खानी. बोला बोला महाराष्ट्री भगवान. अभी एक संथारा है जिसके ऊपर हम रात को सोते हैं और कभी दिन में भी अगर बीमार हो या थक चुके हो तो इसके ऊपर सोते. 300 दिन, 300 एक साल में 300 दिन रोज 1 घंटा प्रवचन सुनना, ऑनलाइन या ऑफलाइन कोई भी चलेगा, या 1 घंटा धार्मिक, इसका मतलब ये है कि कोई भी करना.
All the items that a Jain sadhu use, the main use for them is for what we call Jaina, or careful introspection to make sure that we do not harm any life. And so the Sadhu Bhagwant was showing each of the items and explaining, why they use them, how they help them protect different life. So the ogha, the brush, broom that all sadhus carry, that is to sweep the floor, that is to sweep the body, so that if there's any small bugs or insects, right, they don't get squished when we're sitting, standing, walking. So similarly, all the different items, even the cloth that they wear is made, the material itself is also specifically made so that it can help repel certain life, that it can help keep the sadhu warm also, but also help repel life. So all these different things he was explaining, and instead of giving them to the Sangh by auction of money, they did the auction of of aradhana, of certain types of spiritual practices. Ways that somebody can control their senses, can control their desires, develop new good habits. So all these different things, we did that instead of money.
While these continued, the main ritualistic focus drew towards Rishi doing the Vadhamana and Pradakshina, basically showing gratitude to his parents through offering of raw rice as well to his grandparents.
On that day, I gave 3 pradakshinas to my parents. We call it vadhamana. So I took rice and I poured it on their feet, on their head, and I did the same thing with my guru. I did the same thing with the entire Sangh as well. I gave them 3 pradakshinas. So all of that, right, was to express my gratitude, because me being up to this point, and even after I become a sadhu, right, I can never forget, the gratitude that I have for my parents, because they brought me up in such a way, they allowed me to take Diksha, right, they supported me. Obviously my guru, who is the one who's giving me Diksha, and the Sangh, because the Sangh, while I'm living anywhere that I go, it is the Sangh that will be supporting me. It will be the Sangh, that will act as my parents, or as my friends, or my brothers and sisters. And so they all deserve that respect, that gratitude that I have, because I can never do this alone.
The entire audience present there were emotionally moved. The moist eyes of Rishi and his parents had no words to be defined. The entire atmosphere was different altogether. The gratitude offerings continued. It was now the time of the god Guru Gautamji, whose Vadhamana was also done. And then his revered Guru Sahib Panya Shri Viragratna Vijayji Maharaj was offered gratitude, through rice. Later this continued, and it was now the turn of the audience who was present there. Their pradakshina, rounds were done and rice sprinkled all over them. Apart from all this, Rishi's tilak, gift offerings were done by family and friends, while he too did tilak and gratitude offerings with gifts to everyone present there.
In terms of Rishi taking Diksha, I'm so proud of him. I can't say I saw this coming, but I also cannot imagine what kind of journey he's been on in the past couple of years that led him to have such conviction to make a choice for the rest of his life.
Overall, this ritualistic function for the day ended and the blessings of the Gurudevs present was bestowed upon each one present at the event. His Gurudev, Guru Sahib, Sanyas, Shri Viragratna Vijayji Maharaj, Muni Shri Gunhans Vijayji Maharaj, Muni Shri Devarishi Ratna Vijayji Maharaj were all happy to bless him. So for now, Rishi has entered the kind of a Mumukshu's life, doing his prayer rituals and many more. But somehow he has to do immense study, stick to the hard tenets and follow his Guru's advice and path as a routine.
The sadhu life, especially for a young sadhu, new sadhu, consists of three main things. I will be, studying, I will be meditating also, that is one form of svadhyay. I will be teaching somebody else, maybe somebody younger. So all these forms of studies, I have to spend 15 hours a day doing that in some way or the other. The next one is samarpan. So samarpan is basically, making myself completely at the feet of my Guru. So anything that my Guru says, right, I have to accept it. He can say something which I may not like or which I may not be comfortable with. But part of that practice will be for me to reduce that ego, right, become more humble and accept anything that he says. And then the third thing is seva. So seva is service. So there will be other sadhus, my Guru also, somebody might be sick, somebody might be doing some very long tapasya austerities. So taking care of them, going house to bring the food, alms, gochri we call it. So doing that for my Guru, if he needs something, being ever ready, ever present, so that he doesn't himself have to take that effort.
He is not here for a small work. He is not here to live like an animal, right, who gets up in the morning and works only for eating and do his daily life. He is here on the earth to make a difference.
Yeah, becoming a sadhu is not just the end purpose, right? So my overall purpose, which I learned over time, right, was that whatever virtues that I have or that I'm missing, right, I want this life so that I'm able to develop them, create them, increase them to such a level, right, that even for others it becomes an inspiration. It becomes something that other youth can look towards, that they can also see that something like this is possible, that they don't have to kind of just run around in circles or live, a cyclic life where they don't feel, where there's no escape.
This journey of Rishi becoming a Mumukshu will continue.
It will be a great moment for us because I have gone through this transformation for my daughter also before 5 months, and it's a great feeling.
Wait for the real transformation happening on 8th June 2025. Let's wish him the best for a purposeful and meaningful life ahead in the interest of self and the world over.
I'm one and one with परमात्मा में परमात्मा होने की तरफ आगे बढ़ गया हूँ। तीन लोग के नाथ के सामने किसी की ताकत नहीं है, कोई हस्ती नहीं है, कोई विराट नहीं है, सबसे विराट में विराट मेरे परमात्मा बैठे। हम आगे बढ़े, परमात्मा को नमन किया, वंदन किया, जो भी हमारी इच्छा है उसको देने वाला मेरे परमात्मा बैठे।